Okay, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my first review of Love and Marriage Huntsville season 10. The whole season. I'm going to start reviewing. I'm gonna do season 10, episode 1 and 2 together, and then I'm a little conflicted because I feel like I'm not really sure how long I'm going to be reviewing this show because one, the star of the show, Miss Melody Cherie Rogers, is gone. And I do feel a little type of way about reviewing it or whatever, considering this is her brainchild. Then two, I don't necessarily care for the producer. And three, I don't really care for the characters on this show because if you're like me, you've been watching basically from the start. I started watching season 5 and I had got really into it. So, of course, I went back and watched seasons 1 through 4 and, got caught up or whatever. And one thing I will say, the reason that the star of the show was the star of the show is literally because she was transparent and she shared her story. And I feel like the other characters on the show do not do that. That's why the show is lame as hell, whack, and that's why the numbers are low. For those of you who don't know, the numbers came back and they was under like 200K. It's ridiculous considering this show, when it first came on and at its highest point, was doing crazy numbers. So, okay, we'll see. I'm hoping that I can stick with it, but if I don't, I don't. And Melody is coming out with something. I think it's called Child Care Cartel or something like that. I'm definitely going to be checking that out. And anything else she has coming out. So this is season 10, like I said, episode 1. It opens up with... Okay, so we open up with... what's her name? Tisha, thick tongue Tisha. She's with the kiddies in the kitchen, doing her thing, doing her mommy thing. Her son, oh my gosh, her son looks so much like his dad. They're having conversations. What I will say is Tisha is boring and she don't really have any star quality. That's why she always has to bring her mom in. That's why Marsau is kind of like always able to take her shine and her spotlight whenever she's talking. I'm going to go fast forward this because I'm not really feeling it. So we get Miss Big Back Wanda. She comes to the house and I think it's funny how not all of the grandkids jumping hey, grandma, but apparently she spends a lot of time with them. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe she was already in the house before they had turned the cameras on or whatever. So we see her come in and I'm going to say this. I think this is lazy. I feel like they literally pressed play on Wanda's role and Wanda's character from the time that Melody got her off the show because she was out of control and didn't know her place to now. I feel like they're just pressing play. At the end of the day, we see the type of relationship she has with Marsau. They not really that tight. Then this is my other thing. She steady want to come around and I'm going to make sure that he's not cheating. I'm going to make sure this. I'm going to make sure that. Sweetie, you're not going to make sure nothing because Marsau is not your husband. He does not bow down to you. And Marsau has shown time after time after time he doesn't care what anybody thinks. He hardly cares what his wife thinks. She was sitting in that car crying tears. We don't know if they was fake or not, but she was in that car crying tears and he was giving her the stale face like, girl, you doing too much. So with Wanda coming in on this scene, I feel like it was pointless. It was useless. And them having this conversation was pointless and useless. Like he said, what did I say about it before? Marsau not changing how he feels, so Miss Wanda needs to move on, get a new shtick. Then this my other thing with Tisha. Tisha, you're a bum. You're a weak woman because you always need to have your mom be there as your mouthpiece. And that's not okay. I do not like, that's probably the number one thing that I have never liked about her. Like when the show first came on, we seen Melody's mom, we seen Martell mom, we even seen Marsau and their mom. They stay in there in the mom's place for the most part. Miss Wanda, the only one who want to jump up and do X, Y, and Z with a daughter who's not saying nothing. Like, how many times have we seen Melody tell her mom, like, Mom, I got this. You don't have to worry. How many times have we seen even Martell and Marlene? She like, look, as long as people don't mess with my boy, we cool. Miss Wanda, to me, she's just a busybody. She's stuck in 16 when she probably first, in fact, she did have Tisha when she was young. She's stuck at that age, and Tisha's probably stuck developmentally at like 3 or something crazy, because she's always relying on her mom to be her mouthpiece, and she's weak as hell for that. Then for her to sit there and say, Marsau has shown me time and time again that he's going to protect me, and I trust Marsau, and we have our communication, X, Y, and Z. But you wasn't even sure if that was or wasn't your husband in that hotel picture. Like, come on now. Are we watching the same show? Have we been watching the same show? Girl, you have never been confident and secure in your relationship from what we've seen from the story that you've been telling. It's never been that. So I just think it's bull crap that Miss Wanda is there, and I'm kind of over it. Okay, so on to the next scene. Now we have the other what's their last name? I done forgot Maurice and the Scotts. How could I forget that? We got the other Scott brother. For Maurice to be the oldest brother, I promise you guys, he acts like he's like 7 years younger than Marsau. It's crazy. And then he got Kimmy, this old ass lady, and that don't make it no better. He's very immature. And I feel like, especially because we seen the previews, y'all, for how Kimmy's son is going to say how he felt about his treatment or whatever. Like, dude, fake Martin Luther King, you're not that smart. You're not that accomplished. And he's always trying to walk around like he knows what he's talking about. And he just be saying a whole bunch of nothing. Let's be so for real. And my thing with the producer of this show, he always tries to act like he's so smart and that he knows TV so much, but you don't really know the people. We, the people, the viewers, we like real. We like authentic. What we were looking for in this scene when Maurice sat down with his son and his wife was for him to be like, bro, even me as a lawyer, even me as a grown man, I messed up. For him to sit here and be like, oh, the case was dismissed. Sir, it was on a technicality. You're still not owning up to the fact that you were driving around in a vehicle under the influence of something. Then for you to get out, you ain't even go home and wash your butt. You got out and went to party with your brother and Funky Dineva. Like, come on now. What type of message are you sending to your son? Not what you're saying, but what actions? Your actions are sending what message to your son? Like, this is the joke. And then for him to be like, oh, well, did your friend say anything when the case got dismissed? No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Because really, you shouldn't have never been in that situation. Let's be so for real. And how much better would this situation have been if Maurice really sat down and was like, man, I turned up a little bit too much. My head wasn't where it was supposed to be. Even as a grown man, I still need to learn and be held accountable and do better. We didn't even get that. Child. On to more foolishness. We got Kimmy talking to her husband about NDAs and about the interview that Martell did with old girl. I don't know if y'all know, have seen that, but on YouTube, a couple months ago, Martell had did a interview with supposedly the young lady who him, Marsau, and Maurice had like went out of town with or whatever. And she had spilled the beans about stuff they had done. Half the people believe it, half the people don't. I don't know where I fall into it, because I do feel like all three of them were engaging in extramarital activities, period. And I think they was all cool with it. And Martell, the dummy, just ended up getting caught up more because, let's be so for real, he's not that smart. He is less accomplished. And I feel like he has very low self-esteem because of how successful his wife was, his ex-wife, how successful she was, and how she really just outshined him. And without her there, his light was dimmed. So back to Maurice the clown. He's sitting here telling his wife, no, I never made anybody sign an NDA. And she looking like, okay, that's not the right answer. You were supposed to say you don't have any side chicks. Well, Kimmy, word on the street, word on the curb is that you was his side chick, so you really can't be all that surprised that he has other side chicks when you was one. Second of all, you're grown, Kimmy. You're over 50. This is what I don't like about that couple. I feel like they're another ones who they've not been authentic. They've been telling us this dumb story, a dumb storyline for seasons and seasons and seasons. When we really wanted Maurice to be held accountable for the disgusting way that he, regarded his wife when she was going through her health, situation with cancer. No, there was no accountability. There was nothing even on Kimmy part. She's a grown woman, and she literally sat there and told her husband, was thanking him, saying, you didn't sign up for this. How he didn't sign up for it, and his vows say for better or worse, through sickness and health. And he's sitting there like, yeah. Then the fact that he was asking his wife for coochie, that's what blows my mind. The fact that he was basically demanding it every day, possibly multiple times a day, is freaking disgusting. Like, that's just low. So I really don't have no respect for this couple. And anything that he say to her is going to be what it is, because she's not really going to fight back. She's going to be sitting there in the confessions looking stupid. She's going to be sitting there in front of his face looking stupid. So I'm on to the next scene. Forget about it. Next up, we got Destiny the bum. What they call her, Dusty Dan. She's a bum from the start. Been a bum, been a user, been a fake. Yeah, she's just a user. She's never really had a good storyline, and she is a clown. Okay, so we see her walking into a office space, and she's like, oh my gosh, people didn't know this, but I've been in real estate for 19 years or whatever. But so then how come Melody had to give you like $5,000 to pay your bills? How come after your divorce or whatever, how come you didn't do right by your property that LeBaric was letting you stay in? How come you had to go get utilities in LeBaric's name? Come on now, the math not mathing, and you're not making sense. I feel like her saying, I've been in real estate for 19 years is equivalent to somebody who once worked at McDonald's when they were 16 and now they're 36 saying, oh yeah, I've been working in the culinary industry for 20 years. No, that's not how that went. No. Anyway, she's here talking about she used to be inside of the real estate world. She ain't really do much with it. Then we get Martell walking in, and she hands him a bag. Now, this is my thing with Destiny. She always try to act like she's so confident and she's this big boss and nobody's going to check her and she's always going to stand up for herself. But when Martell walked in and she handed him the bag, the first thing when he said, what's this? She should have said, oh my gosh, that's my candle from the Madani line. That's my son's assistant. That's your time to market yourself. All she kept saying was like, here you go, check it out. Like, she wasn't really being detailed about it. And to me, that's punk. That means you're not confident in the product that you're putting forth. And then Martell, to me, in my opinion, he clowned her because he smelled it. He gave her this interesting look like, And then he literally called it out and said, these candles getting more and more pricier. And it's true. She put a inflated price on them cheap old candles, and we'll see. I feel like birds of a feather flock together, just like how Martell had the candle line. I mean, not the candle. He had the calendar line. He had the book with his kids. He had the wine. All the stuff that he was putting out didn't really come to fruition. I feel like the same thing with Destiny, because with Dusty Dan, because she even had that room spray, and it's another YouTuber. Her name is Jada. She said it's terrible. She was basically like, it's just like car spray. It's not nothing for you to sit there and be purchasing from Dusty Dan, basically. So she's just like her quote unquote bro, quote unquote. Hold on. As I'm saying quote unquote bro, how about after last reunion, she sat there and said that the Holts were trying to, get her to be in bed with them. So how come Martell's still your bro? Like, that's weird to me. If I felt that some of my friends was trying to get me in the bed, I would not be this close to them. So either you made that up and that was an extreme exaggeration, or you a hoe and you want to get with Martell, period. Okay, so we get them talking about then she's saying, she wants to get in on the property that he has or whatever. And Martell's telling her he already promised it to two other people, including one of them being Chris. So she's like, oh, well, let me in on it. Woo, woo, woo. But my thing is, Destiny, you talking all tough or whatever, but how you going to sell a building and you can't even sell your candles? You're not even marketing your candles. That was your opportunity to hype your candles up, sweetie. Because you're not just talking to Martell. You're talking to the public. All 130,000 people who's watching the show. You're speaking to us. And what you just showed me was you're not confident in your product. I will never buy your stuff. But anyways, you want to be able to sell Martell's building. Cool. He says he's down. He says he will, allow that to happen. This is an example number, 100,000 of Dusty Dan being a bum, being a user, not being able to survive on her own, and always looking for a handout and always looking for somebody to do something for her, to make a way for her. I don't care what nobody say. That's what I get from her. From that lady she was doing Mental Mondays with, and people say she was living in her house. I don't know how true that was. From that to this situation with Martell, to her having the whole situation with Melody, like Dusty Dan, she's a bum. All right, let's see what else they talking about. Yeah, here we go. Here we go to Martell talking about coleslaw and how he's putting her through nursing school. Mind you, he's been nutting inside of her for 10 years now. And when he met her, she was in nursing school. I've heard that she done got kicked out, dropped out, whatever the case may be. She's still not done with it. And we all know coleslaw is like, she's worse than a bum. She's like, when he said peasant, that's literally, he used the right wording, peasant. For those of you, I'm sure everybody knows, but this girl has literally just helped this man destroy his family. Not only that, he's saying that she's his woman now literally only because she's his last resort. It would have been one thing if as soon as he was divorced, he brought her on or went public with her or whatever the case may be. But that didn't happen. This man went and pulled Sheree all the way from Atlanta. He pulled like 3-4 with more other people before even mentioning her name, before any of that. And some may say, well, that's because his ex-wife was on the show. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, but he could have been posting her on his social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make sense to me. So he say he putting her through nursing school, even though I don't think he got all that much money. In the court papers, his ex-wife said that he be moving from place to place to place, and she needs the kids to have one stable home. So I'm not really buying that he's putting her through anything. And to me, this is all just a script to slowly possibly bring her onto the show or try to repaint this picture of who he is and the situation. I get his ex-wife not being on the show. Cool. But it's still a lot that took place that I don't really feel comfortable with just all of a sudden in the blink of an eye overnight having coleslaw on the show. He say, if she keep playing her cards right, she gonna get that ring. What do you mean play your cards right? What does that mean for her to play her cards right? What? First of all, when has she ever played her cards right? One, because she was your side chick. That alone tells you she's not wife material. Let's be so for real. I know Kimmy got the ring, but she ain't even treated like a wife. She just treated like, I don't want to say what I want to say because I feel like our ancestors went through a lot, but she ain't treated like no wife. Anyways, back to these two. She started off as your side chick. That's not wifey material. She helped you destroy your family. That's not wifey material. She disrespected your family even after the whole divorce and stuff was done. That girl was on Original Straight No Chasers YouTube channel dogging out the Hope kids, the Eminem kids. She was dogging them out and taking joy in their mom feeling any type of discomfort and pain. And she took joy in knowing that their household was going to be broken up. And now all of a sudden she's wifey material. This is sick. I'm like, for real, just the way that they're trying to paint this picture is disgusting. Okay, so you say she got to play her cards right or whatever. This is ridiculous. I don't believe that she's wifey material. There's nothing that she's done. Even when she used to be on her social media, she'll be leaving her son in the car and making her daughter parents go get the baby, leaving her son by the pool, feeding him popsicles at like 6 o'clock in the morning, only steady giving him goofy food like applesauce and what did she feed him? What, mashed potatoes one time or something like that? Just ridiculous. And the fact that a lot of times what I didn't like was Martell, he would go in on his ex-wife and say, you're exposing me, you're bullying me, X, Y, and Z. And the reason I call cap on that is because that girl Coleslaw was talking about him like a dog. She was the one saying that he was gay. She was the one saying that even though he had told the world that his ex-wife wasn't giving him fellatio, she was like, he don't even want me to do that. She's the one who said that he be putting his tongue all in between her butt, cracking in her booty cheeks and whatnot. So she has exposed more about him and said more derogatory things about him than Melody has. And I always thought it was weird and interesting how anytime he went on, like, I know he did an interview with Queen Sheba, he sat there and wanted to talk good about Coleslaw. How? What does she have on you? Because you sitting here dogging your wife who you built an empire with, and holding up the girl who tore it down with you. Like, come on now. You can't trust somebody like that. Then it's my other thing. Why I won't respect him or her. Because out of pettiness, he sat there and made it so that the Eminem kids could not be posted on none of their social medias. But the bastard child that you had out of wedlock that destroyed your family, that old girl should have literally taken to the chop shop, like she had did the other 2 or 3 pregnancies. That child gets to be blasted on social media, gets to be blasted on TV, on the platform that you and your wife built this and made it that Huntsville got to be blasted on TV. And your children that you created in that blessed union don't get to reap any of the benefits, but the child you had out of sin that you didn't even really want, that's who gets to be blasted. This is how you know Martell is just in like the mental space that he's in is in a bad place. And Ariane, I said the girl's name, Coleslaw is dumb as hell for even entertaining a situation where she might possibly be a wife. And this is how you know she's dirty and desperate and she's weak because she ain't even have enough sense to create her own platform. Nah, she want to come in on what another woman has built. That's not wifey material, and that's not nobody who needs to be respected. All right, let me see if anything else stands out to me. Dusty Dan, the forever loser, is sitting here. The forever loser, the forever victim, is sitting here talking about how Lance had a baby on her. Bitch, she ain't had no baby on you. Excuse my language. He didn't have no baby on you. Y'all wasn't together. And at the end of the day, he could do whatever he want with his manhood, and that's not none of your business. And she literally tries. This is what I don't like about her. You can't talk out both sides of your mouth. You can't in one sentence be like, I'm taking things cool. I'm taking things slow. He's a cutie, but, it is what it is. And then on the other side, try to act like you were so heartbroken about him having a baby. Like, I don't know. She's just, her storylines. And maybe I feel some type of way because last season, she did the same thing with Moses and Sonny. Sitting here trying to act like she was over him, how she ended things with him, and she was the one who got away. But then when it came to confronting him, it was like, woe is me, you did this horrible thing to me. Girl, which one is it? I don't like it because she tried to act like she's so like Big D energy, but you be crying over spilled milk. You be crying over the first time a dude doesn't give you, I guess, the attention that you feel like you deserve. Because let's be so for real. Destiny's pretty, but she don't really put out the energy that make you like, ooh, want to like vibe with her, in my opinion. She gives very like stank, very like reserved, very just, ugh. And that's, to me, in my opinion, why motherfuckers steady leaving her because she's dusty. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm just going to go forward past this because I don't really care that Lance, did what he did. Good for Lance. Because who is a Dusty Dan? Let's be so for real. Then this my thing, Dusty. How you sitting here trying to preach to Martell and give him words of wisdom, but it's some advice that you won't even take? Because literally on last season when we had that, whose was that? Whatever that was, that bridal thing or whatever it was that she called herself putting on, that was a mess. Let's be very clear. She sat there and told Miss Melody Cherie Rogers that she had to check herself and now wasn't the right place to do X, Y, and Z. And then turned around and did the same thing times 10 when Sonny came in. Like, girl, hello? You don't get to tell nobody nothing. You don't even listen to your own advice, sweetie. Like, be so for real. Okay, now we see Swole Ken Goofy Butt coming in, and he's trying to have a conversation with what is his name? Marquise. This my thing. This whole thing is so awkward to me when it comes to this situation, because this is very disrespectful. This is a husband and a wife and a side dude. I'm calling him a side dude because you're not her boyfriend, you're not her husband, you're not her fiance. As long as she's married and is under that vow from God, I feel like you're a dumb man, a dumb person to sit there and put yourself in between a married couple who have children. I can't even really get into Ken. A lot of people are saying that he's a good guy, or they feel that he's doing the right thing by stepping up where Marquise hasn't been able to. And this is my thing. You could step up for the woman, but you need to let them kids be. I think it's wrong that they're living together. I don't care what anybody says. I think that it's wrong for him to be stepping up in the way that he is. And I'm not saying that the kids should necessarily go without or feel some type of void. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the proper way to do that is to not live with the woman. And if you have to support her children because she's unable to, and because the person she had her kids with is unable to, just give the money directly to the mom and don't let it be known that you're doing anything. The fact that this grown man who has no kids is going around and so quickly and easily trying to claim other men's children makes me very uncomfortable. First of all, I think he must have some type of erectile dysfunction or something like that. He must have a very micro, small, you know what. He must not be able to have kids, because he even be saying, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. You must want something because you steady getting with women who have children. So what are you trying to overcompensate for? I don't like that. If you don't want kids, why not get with a woman who also don't want kids? Why say you don't want kids, get with a woman who have kids, and then try to replace their father? That's what's blowing me. I'm finna skip past this because I don't really feel like Ken should be having no type of conversation with Marquise about his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just wrong, period. At the end of the day, I'm not even gonna keep going on. It's just gonna be regurgitated. All right, next scene we have Nell meeting up with her in the house with her husband, Chris. And they finna have Martell come over. She ain't really feeling the idea of having Martell come over. She's nervous. She feeling some type of way. She brings up the fact that they was at some polo event, and Martell had brought coleslaw, and coleslaw had shook on Nell's hand or whatever. And the internet went in on her. It was most likely 10 out of 10, the millimeters, who felt very like, Nell, you're supposed to be Mel's friend. You're coming in and linking up with the coleslaw, with the side chick who destroyed the happy family unit that you knew Martell and Melody to be. So I do understand that. I know the millimeters don't play, I'm sorry, because I know the millimeters have been retired, y'all. But Melody, I forgot what I was trying to say. It don't even matter. So she's coming in, and she's saying, I think you set me up. He says he did. Martell's a liar. I'm not going to say he necessarily set her up, but I just feel like the fact that he even brought her there. And to be honest with you, if I was there, I wouldn't have spoke to the girl. But what can Nell say? What can Nell do? Because Nell was definitely a side chick. And let me say this. This is another couple that I don't like. When they first came on, first we only seen Chris, right? And Chris was cool or whatever. And then we started hearing rumors that him, Martell and them, the Eminem boys, Maurice, Marsau, they all flocked together. And they're at AME. Chris be trying to talk to the young girls, the young college girls, trying to get their number, X, Y, and Z. And we never talked about that. We never, ever got into that. That's like red flag number one, strike one. Strike two is the fact that when they had that family scene, Nell and Chris 100% disrespected their daughter, Lexi. She left abruptly because she wasn't going to take it. And then she ended up doing an interview with Giving You the Real Tea and explained everything. People was coming after her. She ended up doing a 7-part series breaking down each component of her life because she have, tension with her siblings. She have tension with her cousin. She have tension with her mom, with her dad. She got tension with Nell. So she was just breaking everything down. And when I tell you Chris is a dog, Chris is a old dog, and Nell ain't too much different from him. She definitely knew that lady was married. She definitely sat there and continued to entertain a married man. Then once she got him, Chris even left their household. Chris left their family, stopped paying bills. Nell's son Lance had to literally, I think Lexi said, drop out of high school and start working to help pay the bills. Yeah. Chris had moved in with a whole nother family. I think he was gone for like at least 18 months. So now, Chris and Nell, they not no couple that's like, so high and mighty or got it all together. No, they got together off on some dirtiness. So I don't really feel bad for nothing that's going on between them, period. So anyways, Nell apologizes to Martell, which I think is stupid. I think I felt that it was very much like bow down and kiss the ring. Melody ain't here no more. I'm the top dog, so you got to be cool with me so we could have an alliance. That's the vibe that I got from this whole conversation because, I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling it. And I don't feel like Nell should have gave him an apology because at the end of the day, Martell is a liar. And Martell knew what was up by bringing coleslaw to a public event and having Nell there to, shake her hand or just even for the pictures or whatever. So I think that's bullcrap that she's sitting there taking it and laughing. She a clown. Next, we got goofy ass Latricia and Ken sitting here acting like they a couple. They're not a couple. They're just ridiculous. Trish is to me with her dang on locked jaw, can hardly speak. Ken sitting here playing, you're a play boyfriend, you're a play husband, you're a joke, bro. You can't even get this lady to end her marriage so she could be with you. She don't even know if she want to be with you, and you sitting here not picking up on the red flags. You're picking up the red flags and acting like they're green flags. He's a clown. I have no respect for this couple, and I'm not really here for nothing that they're saying. You can even look at this thing. He got his hand all the way stretched over on her lap, and she just distant. Sir, she don't want you. She doesn't want you. She's using you as a distraction from her crazy marriage, from the fact that she had all of them deaths and didn't really have nobody to be there for her. She's using you, bro. But whatever, because I don't care about Ken. When it comes to the situation, like I said, with her and her husband, it needs to be respected as such. We move on. Here she go with her goofy ass, letting her friend Sharon in. She a clown. You can even see the way she walks, like she nervous, she's awkward, she don't need to be on TV. Her friend Sharon, this is my thing too with Sharon and with Trish. Trish, you ain't even tell your sisters your business, but you sitting here telling Sharon all your business with Marquise. I'm not with that. Anyways, and Sharon don't know her place. Okay. So they sitting talking about her ex-husband or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He come in. She want to sit here and act like it's an issue, like it's a big deal. Sharon running her mouth. She need to get, somebody needs to ram a cock in that motherfucker. I'm not playing. I hate to speak like that, but I'm just saying, like, you're a friend, stay in a friend's place. You're not never, anytime I've gotten into it with my person and I tell my friends, you know what my friends do? They be like, sweetie, you're tripping. You need to do better. Like, they hold me accountable. They don't sit there and try to go attack my person. Like, come on now, that's crazy. So it seemed like Marquise here, he's pretty calm. He's having a decent conversation, but Sharon coming at him real, heavy. And Trish is weak just like Tisha. She needs a mouthpiece. She needs to have Ken, or she needs to have Sharon there to do her dirty work. She likes to hype people up, get them all excited, and I don't know, it ain't really worth it. So they having this conversation. One thing I will say, I don't like when nobody tell me, relax. No, I ain't got to relax. Don't tell me to relax. Come on now. That's the worst thing you could do, is tell somebody to relax or calm down. No, I'm not finna calm down. Because why you telling me to calm down? Don't tell me to calm down. So I do feel like he shouldn't have said that. But she was like, can I tell y'all something? Trish does not do a good job of vocalizing how she feels. And that's one thing I don't like about her. Because she could very easily just be like, Marquise, you are full of crap. I want you to step up and be more active with the kids. Here's their schedule. Here's what they got going on. You can communicate with them. These are their cell phone numbers. We don't even have to be in contact. Parent these kids. And I will put all the responsibility back onto him. All the bills, here you go. She shouldn't even have Ken paying nothing. Ken is her man. Them kids got a daddy. Put that daddy to work. That's what she should be doing. And I would do it so classy, so ladylike. She ain't know how to play the game. That's why I say she weak. She don't know how to play these dudes. Marquise would be doing everything for the kids, and Ken would be doing everything for me, period. Let's see. So they got a little back and forth or whatever. He's saying he there for the kids. She's saying he's not. I low-key kind of do believe Trish that he's not there how he should be. And she's getting tired of it. And I think that's where, like, some of the anger is coming from. So the fact that she was telling Sharon, I don't like how she told Sharon, like, she asking Sharon to get in on the conversation. No, you're a grown woman. Only people who need to be in the conversation is you and your husband. That's still your husband, girl. You still got to have some respect. That's still your husband. Anyways, they son look like Derrick Rose a little bit to me. Like a young Derrick Rose when he still had before he got his locks or whatever. But anyways, so the son Xavier is like, okay, daddy, let's go eat or whatever. The son is very mature. So to me, that tells me that he's been seeing his mom and daddy go back and forth a lot. And he's more quiet, more reserved. And he seemed to be more mature than both of the parents combined. And I'm just being so for real, which is surprising because wasn't Trish in the service? Child. Anyways, so yeah, the son comes and gets daddy. They go out or whatever. I will say Marquise is very dramatic, very light-skinned. Ooh, he is light-skinned. That's why I can never get with a light-skinned man, because they just be having all the emotions. So he tells him, hey, Dad, go outside or whatever. Boom. Trish, I feel like she loves back and forth. She loves back and forth with Marquise. She loves kind of getting that emotion out of him. That's what I think she loves. I think she enjoys it. I don't know why. Maybe she'd like to see him suffer, but yeah. Okay, so that is the end of episode 1. I can't believe this went for 40 minutes. Wow. All right, so I'm just going to do episode 1 here, and then I'm just going to come back and do episode 2. All right, I will see you guys. I'm trying to think, do I have any final thoughts? I would rate this episode as a C-. I feel like it was kind of bland coming in. We were getting, crappy storylines. I'm not really excited about the season. I feel like we're going to get a lot of bull crap. We're going to get a lot of fakeness, especially from Marsau and Tisha, from Kimmy and Maurice. They did so much work trying to dismantle the Holtz. They should have been trying to kick the light-skinned Scots off the show because they don't bring nothing. That's what they really should have been trying to do, and make Letitia and Marsau stand on their own. Although, let's be so for real, Marsau stood on his own. He could stand on his own, and that's why people mostly gravitated to him and Melody. Let's be so for real. Okay, so like I said, I rate this a C minus. I will say I didn't necessarily miss Melody because I do feel like she was levels above them, levels above this show. This show is surely down in the gutter, and I think she did right when she stepped on their shoulders, on their heads, and went on to what's really designed and destined for her. But this not the male show no more, and I did hear that she said she don't want nobody associating her with the show. So I won't do that. But yeah. All right. I'm going to get to episode 2. I will see you all in that video. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share it, all of the things. And I'll talk to y'all later.